When I first smelled this, I couldn't tell whether or not I had visitors from Asheville or whether it was a skunk. Is your dog a net blessing or a liability on your homestead? Man, this is one of those videos I've been wanting to do for probably 3 years, but I realize when I do it, I'm probably gonna step on a few toes, but just stick with me. You're probably gonna be glad you did. So here we are, sheep are in a new paddock, and boy, they're just absolutely loving it, and they do what they do. They were just over here last night, and we had a bit of an incident, but in a good way. Look, I told you I'm gonna talk about dogs. And like I said, this is going to be one of those things, man, that some people are going to be, I love my dog, forget you, you arrogant, blah, whatever the case may be. Look, man, I'm not looking to step on any toes, but as they say, I'm going to keep it real. In the interest of keeping it real, I have a livestock guardian dog, and many of you have them too, but are you using them for what they're designed for? My dog basically lives by the first general order. For all of you soldiers and Marines out there, you know what I'm talking about. I will guard everything within the limits of my post and quit my post only when properly relieved. Well, let's go over here and take a look at where his post was last night. All right, here they are in the new paddock. These guys move every single day. Right over here where I'm standing is the old paddock. And you're probably wondering why I'm wearing rubber gloves, okay? And you're probably wondering why I got a gallon Ziploc bag. It's because my livestock dog was standing right here last night, and right here at the base of my feet, what do you see? A skunk. Dead in the middle of this pasture. And you know who made it happen? Milk Boy, the greatest Pyrenees. So look, I can sit here and leave him, but I'm gonna put him right here in this bag, and I'm gonna do this carefully. All right, so the reason I did that, number one, it's a skunk. Number two, I don't want to be smelling him until he makes the transition into the compost pile, which we'll come to in a minute. Here's what I want to get at. A lot of people have livestock guardian dogs and you let them run everywhere. I've done a video before, a while back, about homestead security and how we have rings of security. We have an outside perimeter fence, okay? During the day, my dog patrols all of that. And then at night, as you can see, obviously, we got the outside perimeter fence, which, you know, stands as a deterrent for people and predators, of course, that might want to come after these sheep over here. So we got an outer ring like you would have with the President of the United States, notwithstanding the latest incident, but that's another video altogether. Inside, we got another one. And thank God this thing isn't hot because I would have been Kentucky Fried right now. So, any would-be predator would have to first breach the outside, breach the inside. Let me tell you some military doctrine, okay? As a U.S. Army sapper, I can tell you this authoritatively. To make something a real barrier, first of all, you gotta have a barrier. It's gotta be protected or covered by fire, but we'll just say protected, and it's gotta be observed. Well, I can't be awake 24 hours a day. That's why we have a livestock guardian dog. And instead of him just letting roam everywhere, he is right here with these sheep at night. During the day, we're thinking about getting another one. Yeah, Michelle, don't get too excited over here because you're not going to be cuddling with him. So they can work in tandem. They work better that way. The idea being is that instead of his focus being all the way around and for miles and miles chasing coyotes or doing whatever he might do, I want his focus like a laser beam where he ought to be. So instead of him going out here, doing whatever he's going to do, he is in here and he knows that this is his area that he has to guard. And guess what? He's going to go Old Testament on every living thing that tries to get in here, that little skunk being the example. So all the other little skunks out there are knowing, don't start no SH and there won't be no IT. And they just got served last night. Now, as we walk over here, you can see it. Well, I won't go too far. I got chickens over there, okay? That's more than likely what the skunks were after, and these guys were on the way. Well, they got dealt with on the way. Well, these chickens go into a place they're perfectly safe at night, but one skunk can wipe out all of your chickens, especially if they're not in check. So where you put your livestock guardian dog, Might be with your animals out here, or it might even be with the chickens. But look, these are dogs that need shade, so make sure you provide that. Now, let me go ahead and police up this skunk, and we're talking about the dogs that may be a liability on your place. Here we are in the compost barn, little Mr. Skunk, and we're going to respect him, you know, despite some of the humor I use. Look, if it lived, it can live again, to quote the great Jeff Lawton, and he's going to do it not in this pile because that's my finished compost pile. And by the way, y'all, if you want to see start to finish how we do our compost here at Billy's Jungle Palace of Love, we're going to be doing it at the Homesteaders United Jamboree coming up at the end of this month. Never done a class like this in person. You're going to see me build this thing along with my son, and we're going to have one that's already started so you can see the transition and all those things that happen. Right here, I got a compost pile that Milk Boy got into. So, yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Right now, this thing's at about 140 degrees. It's still in the becoming compost phase, okay? And I'm going to talk to you a minute. While I'm putting him in here, I'm going to talk about these other dogs, okay? Now, Milk Boy, my dog, the greatest Pyrenees, obviously has a role that is extraordinary right here on this farm, okay? Very specific role. But when I'm over here fooling around in this compost barn, this is the last place I want him to be. Because every time you turn around, he's in here dragging bones out of this thing. So I got to basically take this pallet, stick it in front of here now. He's doing all these things that where he's not being used. We're taking the wrong dog to the hunt, you dig? Michelle's little lap dog, Nala, she's perfectly fine down here. So there's little Mr. Skunk. We're going, oh my goodness. When I first smelled this, I couldn't tell whether or not I had visitors from Asheville or whether it was a skunk. But anyway, he's in there, and we're going to put him dead in the center. And this is an active pile anyway. I'm going to be flipping this in the future. But anyway, when I'm out here doing this, Milk Boy is the worst dog in the world to have around. Number one, he's being a complete nuisance. And yeah, I know some people are going to be offended. Oh, don't talk about my dog like that. Look, I'm just keeping it real. And if you see it any other way, well, as they say in the playground at the hood on the basketball court, get that weak stuff out of here because I'm just keeping it real. And if you can't dig it, then I don't know what to tell you. So check this out. Michelle's dog, Nala, is perfectly fine down here. She's not in here being a nuisance, jumping in the pile, doing all that. So literally when you do this work, it is critical that you take the right dog to the hunt. Milk Boy is also a nuisance when I'm doing other things around here. So he cannot be there. Have you ever gone out to help somebody, whether it's to move their stuff, let's say they're moving from one place to the next, and they got a dog that every single time you're carrying boxes, you got to sit here and walk around that? Homie, don't play that. I mean, honestly, that's one of the quickest ways to aggravate me because I am naturally an efficient person. And your dog, even though it may feel like it's a very idyllic thing, you know, it's a scene from a movie from Hollywood from way back, your dog might be very well making you highly inefficient in the tasks you're doing at home. So you may have a family member, whether it's your spouse or your kids. Oh, let's bring little Fluffy along. Well, you know that Fluffy's going to wind up either getting in the wheels of that vehicle you're driving or climbing on the side of the vehicle as you're going up the hill, whatever the case may be. That's one of the things our dog does. Or being right in the middle of the things you need done. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've helped people do certain things, and a task that could have taken an hour took 2, maybe even 3, because they just got to have the dog involved every step of the way. And folks, I'm telling you, if you want an efficient homestead, one that functions the way it ought to do, you got to use the right dogs to the hunt. And that's really what it comes down to. So, okay, check this out. All right, so the greatest Pyrenees did his job, okay? That sucker's in there. Let me go ahead and put my thermometer back in there without hitting him. So we'll go ahead and get our thermometer in the middle of that pile. Yep, I think we missed him right there. It was at 140 degrees. And trust me, your temperature is going to be something you want to... He's unexpectedly in a pile that's really, I'm expecting to kind of ease up. He's going to heat it up a little bit, but guess what? Even though he may have got dealt with out in the field, we're totally respecting him by putting him in this pile. So that's the way that's going to happen. And just to keep my greatest Pyrenees out of there, I'm going to cover it up with this. And then to keep him from doing what he did the last time, I'm going to take this pallet that I make my compost on, and I'm going to stick it up like that. So everything is lottie-dottie, everything's ready to rock and roll. So folks, look, not a point of aggravation. And like I said, this is a video I've been wanting to do for years now, but trying to find a segue, a more genteel way of talking about this thing without aggravating everybody. Look, I know you love your dogs out there. Look, we love ours. And there's no way you can not love the greatest Pyrenees, okay? But at the same time, they can make you highly, highly inefficient. So if that dog is messing you up with your chores, go put them up for a little while. If they're out there chasing around, like Michelle's dog is a wonderful dog, but we can't have her out when we're messing with these sheep, because as we take the fence down, she's wanting to go play with the sheep and chase them around. That's a problem. So once again, take the right dog to the hunt. All right, remember, we still got that deal on Comfrey that if you buy 10, for every 10 you buy, we're going to throw in a Comfrey crown. So we still got that kicking. Also, if you need any bone sauce, world's best deer repellent, we got it at the website. Homesteaders United, we're going to be there at the end of the month. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys out there. Don't let this nonsense in the world keep you from getting the training you need to learn how to take dead skunks and turn them into some ballin' compost over there. So until next time, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion. Putting skunks in your pile is definitely part of it. We'll see you next time.